Iron Gwazi was supposed to open in 2020 and be one of the best coasters ever built. However, 2020 happened, and now it seems Iron Gwazi might be failing. Today, I'm going to explain exactly why Iron Gwazi is failing and what Busch Gardens and SeaWorld could do to salvage as much as they can with this coaster. The title of this video isn't clickbait. Iron Gwazi is failing. When SeaWorld and Busch Gardens started working on this coaster, they had big plans. They wanted it to be super tall, fast and steep, and break many records. They wanted Iron Gwazi to be the best roller coaster in all of Florida, if not best in the world. The goal for Iron Gwazi was for it to complete the park and make Busch Gardens Tampa into a bigger success than it already is. But of course, that didn't happen. The coaster has still not opened yet, and no opening date was announced either. Iron Gwazi was announced back in March of 2019. The coaster was set to open for the 2020 season just 1 year later, being the tallest RMC coaster in the world at 210 feet, also featuring a 91-degree drop and reaching speeds of 76 miles an hour. The coaster is a masterpiece, with it likely being a top coaster in the country and a chance at being the world's best coaster. So why in the world would SeaWorld and Busch Gardens let such a good coaster fail? Many have said the reason for Iron Gwazi's delay is due to lack of employees, the liens filed a year ago by RMC, and several other reasons. But I want to take a deeper look today and find out exactly why SeaWorld isn't opening this coaster, and why it's failing, as well as what SeaWorld could do to salvage as much as they can of this coaster. In my opinion, I think there is something really simple and stupid going on with Iron Gwazi. I think SeaWorld isn't sure whether or not to open Iron Gwazi or any of their other coasters in 2021 or delay them further. In my opinion, I think they are so unsure of what to do that they never even made a decision. I think SeaWorld never came to a decision of whether or not they should delay their coasters, but that is a decision itself. They don't know what to do, but that in itself is a decision to delay the coaster. Every day that goes by that they don't announce an opening date for the coaster, they are delaying it even though they still haven't come to a decision. I think SeaWorld may be looking back now and wishing they were more transparent, or that they had opened their coasters earlier, and now they don't know if they missed the time to open the coasters, if they should open them now, or if they should delay them further. And that just makes Iron Gwazi remain closed and continue failing. Universal Islands of Adventure recently opened the brand new VelociCoaster. VelociCoaster is an intimate launch coaster with 2 launches. The second launch hits the coaster's max speed of 70 miles per hour, pushing it over the giant 155-foot top hat. VelociCoaster has 4 inversions and is one awesome ride. With VelociCoaster now open in Florida, we can apply some facts to Iron Gwazi. VelociCoaster was announced earlier this year, and there's a ton of hype surrounding the coaster. Gwazi, on the other hand, was announced months before VelociCoaster, and though it may have more hype surrounding it, it still hasn't opened. SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Tampa may be closely watching how successful VelociCoaster is, but they have a problem. They only have 2 options at this point. They can either open Iron Gwazi now and compete with VelociCoaster, in which case Iron Gwazi will likely fail, or they can wait until after the hype on VelociCoaster dies down and then open Iron Gwazi. Now, there's no way Iron Gwazi does as well as originally planned to, but at this point, SeaWorld needs to do damage control. They can open Iron Gwazi now, but there's not as much hype around the coaster anymore, and the hype that's left will get overshadowed by VelociCoaster. They can't wait to open the coaster, but then the hype dies out further. This is the reason I think Iron Gwazi is failing. There are simply no good options here for SeaWorld. Unless SeaWorld is able to restart the hype of this coaster into a success. If SeaWorld manages to re-hype this coaster and open it in the fall of 2021 or very early spring of 2022, then maybe there's a chance Iron Gwazi can regain some of the hype it once had. But otherwise, Iron Gwazi is failing, at least for what it originally was intended to do. It's sad to see a coaster that was once hyped so much that it was considered a possible contender to become the world's best coaster, and now it seems like a failed ride. One of the biggest reasons Iron Gwazi is failing is because SeaWorld isn't being transparent. I totally understand why they aren't being transparent, because if they tell us the coaster is delayed another year, no one will be happy. However, now that no one knows what's going on with Iron Gwazi, it's causing people to get extremely frustrated when people talk about Iron Gwazi. As much as we want to know when Iron Gwazi is opening, we still need to understand why they aren't releasing any information. If Busch Gardens announces an opening date for Iron Gwazi, many people planning trips there will probably delay their trips and instead come once Iron Gwazi has already opened. Busch Gardens doesn't want that. Busch Gardens wants people to continue to come to their park and then get all those people to come back again once Iron Gwazi opens. But there's something else a lot bigger going on, and no one seems to realize it. Iron Gwazi isn't gone just yet. In fact, Iron Gwazi may be the most talked about coaster in the world right now. Everyone seems to be frustrated that the coaster hasn't opened yet, which means, as much as no one will admit it, this coaster is really anticipated by enthusiasts. If SeaWorld and Busch Gardens wait until spring of 2020 to announce the opening of Iron Gwazi, will it really fail that bad? I'm not sure. Yes, enthusiasts will be upset, but I think they would all rather ride the coaster than complain about it. I just wonder if Iron Gwazi is talked about so much by enthusiasts, even if it's talked about in a bad way, will the coaster open and succeed like crazy? There's also the GP factor to realize here. What do you think? Is Iron Gwazi failing, or is it secretly building up more and more hype? Let me know in the comments.